There are moments in life that words can barely hold. Moments so raw, so real, that even the toughest hearts crack open. This is one of them. His name is Nero, a Doberman, sleek, powerful, and built like something out of a legend. Strangers cross the street when they see him. Children grip their parents' hands a little tighter. People assume they know who he is before he ever gets the chance to show them. And for most of his life, that was fine. Nero didn't need their approval. He had his family. But today was different. Today, something small was coming home. If you've ever felt something shift inside you the moment your whole world changed, if you know what it's like to love someone before you even fully understand why, then this story is going to stay with you. And if you're not subscribed yet, I want to ask you something honestly. How many videos have genuinely moved you this week? Because what you're about to watch is one of those rare ones. Hit subscribe before we go any further. You won't want to miss what comes next, or anything that comes after. The morning started quietly. Nero paced near the front door, his dark eyes tracking every sound. He had been doing this for days. Something was shifting in the house. New smells, soft fabric being folded in a small room he wasn't allowed into yet, whispered conversations that stopped when he walked in. Dogs don't understand words, but they understand everything else. When the door finally opened, Nero didn't bark. He didn't jump. He simply froze. In her mother's arms was the tiniest human he had ever seen, wrapped in white, barely moving, her little chest rising and falling in the softest rhythm. The room felt suspended. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Nero took one slow step forward, then another. His owner, with a voice so gentle it barely made a sound, whispered, "Easy, baby, easy." But Nero wasn't aggressive. He wasn't afraid. He was something else entirely. He was reverent. He lowered his head, his ears, usually sharp and alert, folded back softly. He stretched his long neck forward and, with a kind of delicacy you would never expect from an animal his size, pressed his nose, barely touching, to the baby's blanket. And then he exhaled, long, slow, deep, like he had been waiting for this moment for months, like some part of him already knew her. What happened over the next hour would be hard to describe to anyone who has never watched a Doberman love something smaller than itself. People talk about the breed's loyalty, their intelligence, their intensity. What they don't talk about enough is their tenderness. Nero sat beside the bassinet and did not move. Not when the phone rang, not when the TV turned on in the other room. He stayed, watching, ears rotating like small satellites, catching every sound the baby made. When she whimpered, his head tilted to one side, confused, concerned, completely present. Her father tried to call him away for dinner. Nero glanced over his shoulder, then turned back to the bassinet. Not yet. There's a question worth sitting with here. Who decides what a dog is capable of feeling? We hand out labels so easily. Dangerous breed, unpredictable, not suitable for children. And then a moment like this happens and every label falls apart on the floor. Do you think animals like Nero are truly capable of love? Or is it something closer to instinct, a protective drive dressed up to look like emotion? Think about it, because whatever your answer is, the line between the two might be thinner than you ever imagined. By the end of the first week, something remarkable had settled into the household. Nero had claimed a spot beside the baby's room, not inside it, just outside the door. His own choice, his own post. He started bringing her things. A sock he found under the couch, a soft toy he had carried since he was a puppy himself. He would lay them carefully at the edge of her blanket and then sit back, tail sweeping slowly across the floor, watching to see if she noticed. She was too young to notice, but her parents noticed, and they cried more than once quietly in the kitchen when they thought no one was watching. Nobody told Nero to protect her. Nobody trained him for this specific moment. And yet, every evening as the house grew quiet and the lights dimmed low, he would press himself gently against the side of the crib, a living, breathing wall between the smallest member of the family and everything else in the world. There were nights her parents would check on her and find Nero already there, eyes open, alert, completely still, not asleep, not resting, just watching, as if he had made a silent promise to someone, somewhere, that this little soul would never spend a single night unguarded. Her mother once stood in the doorway for a long time, watching them both, the baby breathing softly, Nero a dark and patient silhouette in the moonlight. She said later that in that moment, she didn't feel like a new mother figuring things out alone. She felt like her daughter already had a guardian, one that didn't need to be asked, one that had simply decided. That's the thing about a Doberman's loyalty. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't perform. It just shows up, quietly, consistently, completely, every single time. One day, she will grow up and run through the yard and fall off bikes and come home from school upset and not want to talk about it. And Nero will be there. Not with words, never with words, just with that steady, dark, faithful presence that has been hers since the very first day. Some bonds don't need time to grow. They arrive whole, instant and unshakable, as if they were always meant to exist. As if two souls simply recognized each other across the noise of the world and said, "There you are, I've been waiting." People will keep making assumptions about this breed. They will cross the street, they will tighten their grip, they will repeat the same tired stories about danger and distrust. But somewhere in a quiet house, a little girl is sleeping soundly, and a Doberman is keeping watch. No noise, no drama, just love, doing exactly what love does when it's real. The world tells you a lot about what a Doberman is. Very little of it looks like this. If this story touched something in you, if you believe every dog deserves the chance to show who they really are, share this with someone who needs to see it. And if you're still not subscribed, this is the moment. One tap. Because stories like Nero's don't come around every day, and you shouldn't have to miss the next one. Now, tell me, do you think Nero knew she was his to protect, or did love simply find him the moment she walked through the door?